I do not consent to being recorded.
Welcome back. Week 8, heading into week 9. We're rounding second, heading for third, looking at our fat fuck third base coach. See if he's going to wave us home. We're not sure. Some of us know, some of us don't. But anyway, welcome back to the League of Kyle's Rivals Not Stupid podcast. Daddy's back. I know you missed me. I know most of you missed me. Some of you didn't watch, so you probably couldn't miss me. But it's good to be back. Good to be back with the boys.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Hey, listen, we're here with the boys. My co-host, as always, Alex Safe. How are you, pal?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad to be here for episode 21. I don't know if I've missed any episodes yet. Maybe I have, but
I don't think so.
I think this might be my 21st episode. So this is a milestone for me, 21. Get that in there.
Get a beer.
I would also like to welcome for his third
Second?
time? Third. Second, okay. Maybe I dreamt of it.
Yeah, you can dream about that.
Phil Ryerson, welcome to the podcast, my friend. Thank you for filling in. We appreciate that. Short notice, but we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here. Knock, knock. To find out who's there, follow my OnlyFans.
Shameless plug.
I am glad that Phil was able to fill in because Bruce died last minute, about 2 minutes before the podcast was about to start. This is a shock to us. This is a shock to us because Lucho died earlier today and couldn't make the podcast either.
Oh my God, 2 deaths.
So, yeah, that's why we had to make sure you got on, Phil, because we don't want you to die, and now we can watch over you and make sure.
Yeah.
Also, I have a bone to pick with people. No one acknowledged my death last week. It was just he's not here. I mean, I was like, oh man.
We thought
it is what it is. It is what it is.
Secret.
All right. So anyway, I want to address the elephant in the room. I wasn't here. There was an As Told by Ginger marathon on, and I was watching it. So just kidding. Anyway, let's move into it. We're going to start really quickly with a rapid fire section. Just get the boys warmed up like Bruce before any soccer game we've ever played, doing sprints up and down the field for whatever reason. We're going to get into it really quick.
So
what I'm going to do,
some 40-yard dashes wearing jeans at the Football Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, kind of something similar to that.
So rapid, but not as fast as you could be if we were prepared for this.
No, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to ask a question, and I don't really want an elaboration. I just kind of want your answer. So like if I ask you what's your favorite color, it's just like blue. I don't need to know why it's blue. Just tell me why.
Okay.
Just tell me it's blue. Okay.
All right.
So first and foremost, let's go this way. I want Alex to answer first and then Phil to answer next. So first question is, who is the most frustrating player on your fantasy team? Alex, go.
Oh, shit. I was not prepared for this. Michael Thomas. That's why I traded him.
Michael Thomas. Phil, what about you?
Frustrating?
Yeah.
Is that just in the realm of the question? Can I name
First thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes to mind, Dak Prescott. But if I have to not pick somebody who's injured, I'd probably say the most frustrating player, Kenyon Drake.
Other than a player I traded is Deontay Johnson.
Okay, fair enough. I totally understand. For me, Jonathan Taylor, not even close. Also, okay. Next question. This one, if you don't have an answer, just say you don't know. Outside of Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, and I won't even can put in Trey Lance into there. Do you think there's another first-round quarterback in this draft coming up?
Yes.
Who is it?
Oh, I thought we were just supposed to give a quick answer.
Yeah,
I don't know yet, but there will be another first-round quarterback.
All right, Phil, what about you? You have any guesses, or you think yes or no?
Yeah. Just with the way that we're learning about quarterbacks, we could go back to just our most recent draft.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Do you mean first round in Dynasty or first round in the NFL?
NFL.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. That's what I thought. But I knew, Phil, you were going towards the Dynasty aspect.
Yeah. Yes or no?
I don't care about real football, Dennis. I won't be.
Fair enough. I would say yes. I think Zach Wilson is going to be sneaking to the first round.
I think. If you want to give me a name, I think if Mac Jones declares, he'll be.
I think so too. He could be too as well. All right. So anyway, here's another one, non-fantasy related. Best jerseys in the NFL. Who has them?
It's the Chargers powder blue jerseys.
Chargers powder blue. Phil.
Minnesota Vikings color block.
Color rush,
Okay.
color block, whatever.
I like Kansas City Chiefs homes with the white pants.
I also
okay.
Can I give a second choice really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Raiders all whites.
Yes, those are nice too. Inversely, worst uniforms in the NFL.
Pass for me for now. Move on. I'll give you an answer.
Detroit Lions. Any of them?
Oh, those grays?
They're horrible.
Those were
They're
disgusting.
Phil,
I thought I
you?
liked them for a while, but
Worst
Yeah.
Patriots.
Really interesting.
I don't have I can't think of a current answer, but just to give a quick answer, those
Yeah.
Tampa Bay clock uniforms, digital clock.
Yeah.
uniforms,
Oh, yeah. Those are some of the worst jerseys.
yeah. I'm
in
glad they changed those back to
history of the
more,
NFL. Okay. All right.
Classics.
And that's really all I have. I just wanted to get the boys
Oh,
thinking
nice.
really
Yeah, I like
quick.
it.
I want to get the boys thinking real quick because
Get the blood pumping.
you gotta get the blood pump. Be on your toes. You gotta be ready. You know, they call me the podiatrist because I keep people on their toes. Apparently,
They don't call you the podiatrist.
I've got plantar fasciitis.
So
Hey, don't make fun of that. I actually do.
All right, so here we go. Week 8, the Ocho. We are here, and once again, as usually, some good games, some bad games, some not some good games. Some games we're pretty indifferent to. So as always, we're going to read them off, and then we're going to break them down in depth. Phil, if you don't have it, pull up the recaps for the week. So when we go
Under
to you,
reports, franchise, fantasy recaps on the website.
so
Any
as
of our
we're doing
listeners
that,
want to pull it up as we're going through, there it is.
and read along with us. So here we go. In the Not Stupid Podcast Game of the Week, Bruce, as so aptly dubbed, beat Phil, who's with us now, 113.48 to Phil's 88.84. Next, Alex's beats Nick, 145.62 to 114.32. Alex Hochberg beats Kyle in a dud of a game, 101.32 to 93.66.
Came down the wire on that one. That was a Monday night result.
Really did. And Denzel, beats Skylar, 172.38 to 86.46.
Barn burner.
Yes, Lucho beats Joey, which is actually a bit of a surprise, 122.48 to 101.86. And the Bins Game of the Week presented by Zeke and Anthony Alexander II Jr. Thom absolutely fucking dusted Anthony. 186.16 to Anthony's 116.18. Now, I don't have it up. Alex, do you have it up?
I do. I do have
do
it
you
up.
Do you have Bruce's and Phil's?
I do.
Oh.
It's right in front of my face.
All right. So as per usual, biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. Let's hear it.
On Bruce's team, biggest disappointment. I will go with my answer of who was sponsoring our Bins Game of the Week. It's Zeke with 8.3 points. Just the fact that you thought you had a top 5, if not top 3 running back week in, week out. It's disappointing. And it's not entirely his fault, but it's also partially his fault because I think he's in his own head. So
True.
That's
that stomach tattoo he got.
That's absolutely a bad one. I picked a disappointment for Bruce's team because honestly, I don't think Bruce had a surprise. I think his team overall was actually very disappointing to only score 113 based on how he's been doing the rest of the year. He snuck out a win still, but I'm not even going to give him a surprise. On Phil's team, this is another big one. Phil's team really underperforming and trying to go against the odds of the injuries and the bye weeks he had. But biggest surprise, I can give him a surprise. The fact that Brandon Ayuk, with Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt, George Kittle getting hurt, Deebo Samuel being out, their run game being somewhat shitty, to still score 23.1, it just shows that he's a good player. And then biggest disappointment, I mean, I don't know how much I can say besides DeAndre Swift, I think, getting only 5.3. We thought his role was increasing, which is he's still involved in the passing game, but it turned into this. They just couldn't run the ball at all, not even with AP either. So
It was script.
yeah, so it was a little unfortunate that we thought maybe Swift was going to get you at least double-digit points every week now, at least like 10.
You could even say collectively the quarterbacks too were pretty disappointing. I mean, not like, oh my God, horrible, but like 10 points for Goff.
Yeah, that was my
great.
second choice, was going to be Goff. So,
all right. Well, Phil, you got anything to say about that now that we have you here, or just burn it and move on?
Yeah, I'm okay to just turn the other way with this week. It wasn't unexpected. There was a lot of boom bust players, and it just was a week, which is with the matchups and the injuries kind of what I expected. And the worst part is to be going against such a monster team and to
having a bad day. He had an awful day, and I can understand that if that's where you're going.
To lose to him by only, what is this, like 25 points? Insane.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because when you were coming to the week, you had to start Jalen Guyton and Damiere Byrd, and I know there was some
even
question
Tevin
marks.
Coleman. Yeah.
I know you had question marks with Tevin Coleman, even if he was going to play, and then he got hurt again. Al Robinson, we didn't know if he was going to clear protocol, so I know you were really scrambling there to try to get a competitive lineup out versus Bruce, and it kind of was like, oh well, it's Bruce. I'm not going to be able to beat him without my full team, but
right.
Yeah, it sucks that you had a chance if you did have your full team. If you had your full team, you probably would have won.
Yeah,
you had Dak, if you had Beckham,
yeah.
you had all these other guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move past that. I don't know if we got that right. I think we probably said Bruce. I'm not too sure. You guys said it. I don't remember. But all right, next one. I'll do the next one. Al beats Nick. Like I said, 145.62 to 114.32. Biggest disappointment. I mean, I want to say it's Amari Cooper, but with friggin' Gucci Danucci as his quarterback, nothing surprises me. Jimmy Garoppolo, 1.76 for a quarterback. That's pathetic. It's just not good.
He got hurt, but even before that, he was playing pretty bad.
Right. Surprise. I'd probably honestly say Cooper Kupp after having like a bad 2 weeks in a row, kind of rebounding. I don't know if it's much of a surprise, but hey, that's good.
He had what I believe. Let me click on his name really quick. But he had 21 targets in that game, 11 receptions, and only 11 receptions. You'd think he would have had more than that, but Jared Goff was just not good.
Talk about forcing the fucking issue.
Yeah, and then at the end of the game, Cooper Kupp actually fell on his wrist and might have hurt it, but they're on a bye, so we haven't really heard anything about that.
All right. Well, okay, so for moving to Al, surprise, I'd probably say J.K. Dobbins just kind of seeming like he's slotting in there and being that guy now. He seems like it's just kind of not his position to lose, but it seems like it's going to be his position very shortly because I think Ingram is just sort of being phased out. Disappointment, clear Deontay Johnson. I mean, Jesus Christ, that guy can't fucking stay healthy through an entire goddamn game. And I usually don't say things like that, but like it's literally every game with that guy.
He pulled his hamstring and then came back in a couple plays later and played the rest of the game, so he seems to be okay, but it was all Juju and the run game in this one. So Juju had a great game.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony's happy, or maybe he's not. I don't know.
Oh, he's not happy about losing the first pick.
I mean, and this is also too just like, I mean, Mahomes against the Jets is fantastic. And then I don't even want to say Gio Bernard is like a surprise because it's just, he's a pretty good backup and like filling in on a team that's been pretty good offensively. I mean,
it's getting the work. 15 rushing attempts, 4 targets, gets the work.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. The Rec Nicking. Phil, this one's going to be you. Rec Nicking versus Coach Dad presents live from Tijuana, Lucio Libre and Donkey Show, MRAE, which stands for My Rivals Are Everyone. Which
everybody.
Whatever. It's the same thing. He hates everyone. But All right,
He
so
does
Phil,
not hate everyone. He just rivals everybody.
yeah, I mean that's what rivals are, aren't they? But so Phil,
It's up
just
for
started
debate.
off,
It's a hated rivalry or it's a friendly rivalry. That's why he has rival rankings.
Yes, and just started off, and biggest surprise, biggest disappointment for each team.
So I'd say for Alex, the biggest disappointment, Baker Mayfield. Going against that, but he got hurt, correct?
Baker?
Or I think so.
I thought I heard about that he's been dealing with an injury.
Oh, he's had the rib injury that's been going on. Yeah, he didn't get hurt in this game, but yeah, sure.
Like Nelson Aguilar putting up 0, definitely like a disappointment, but to expect more from Baker Mayfield, like I'm not expecting a lot from Nelson Aguilar.
I fucking hate Nelson Aguilar for what he did to me last week and then fucking doesn't show up this week. I fucking hate Nelson Aguilar. What a clown. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. And then I guess the one that looks the best, Jamal Williams. That's the surprisingly good on the team. And then for Kyle, I'd say the biggest disappointment just in like obviously AJ Green has been a continuous disappointment, but I think there's more disappointment seeing Devontae Parker with Tua for the first time and hoping there'd be like a little bit more chemistry there. Mm-hmm. You know, like you've been waiting to see what.
Yeah, it was the Tua debut as a starter was a little underwhelming.
Yeah, and since nobody started Tua, I won't get to say that he was a disappointment this week.
Oh, so. I think Skylar did start.
No, he did start him. He did.
Gotcha.
We'll let you say that later. We'll give you that matchup.
We'll give you a nod. I think you could even say, and not even just for this matchup, Kareem Hunt. I think everybody kind of thought he would just slot right in, but he kind of has been a super disappointment. And I don't know if that's just the Browns in general, just being a little more pass heavy or whatever, but man, I thought
he's not as good.
More.
They're just so much better when Nick Chubb is there to wear down defenses and just keep both their legs fresh by going back and forth. It's just such a good system that Stefanski has to have both of them, which after watching Kareem Hunt, maybe you had some question marks thinking, well, they re-signed Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, maybe they'll just let him walk after his rookie contract. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just going to keep the two running back combo as long as they can. I mean, obviously maybe Chubb gets replaced if Chubb all of a sudden out of nowhere decides not to be good, but there's been no indication of that happening at all. So I would just assume that it's going to be Chubb and Hunt for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Phil, because this game seems like it you could have went two ways, and I'm looking at something here. This game was very close. My thing here is the tight end, surprise and disappointment. Could you say that was the difference with Gronkowski with 14 and Jonnu Smith with less than 5?
Yeah. From what we've been expecting from Jonnu Smith, I mean, his production's been down like the last 3 weeks. So you kind of hope for him to have a bounce back and he still hasn't. His scores have been bad against two pretty bad opposing pass defenses. Against the Steelers isn't like a huge surprise, but against the Texans and Bengals, for him to be doing that little is pretty expected. And I was actually going to say the surprise is actually James Conner putting up 15 points against the Ravens run defense.
Yeah, that's a good one. I wouldn't have even thought of that. That's actually really good. James Conner's been actually from week 1 has been pretty decent.
Hey, you can. We got the perfect guy on the podcast to speak on that since he's the one that traded him away.
Yeah,
I mean, I know Phil and I were just talking about this about 15 minutes ago. So,
yeah, it was one of those things. A bell cow running back versus, in my mind, somebody who's also injury prone and doesn't play well through an injury, as we found out last season when he was hurt with an injury that other players have played through. He was coming out of games. So in my head, lower pain tolerance, has this habit of getting hurt. I would rather him not be on my team.
Yeah, no contract sorted out for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't super high on him, but I mean, he just has continually proved it wrong.
Hey, when
And-
he's on the field, he's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
That's
and
always the
because
question.
it didn't go through, I will say I just tried about 20 minutes ago to trade for him, and it didn't work out. All right, so all right, Al, if you want to do me and Skylar's matchup, feel free. Get
Sure. If I can find where you are on this list.
right below that one.
Oh, okay,
Right
got
below-
you. Yeah, so you completely demolished Skylar. I don't even need to mention the scores again. Biggest surprise. I mean, it's funny that I want to say DK Metcalf getting 42, but that's what he is. That's what he is. He's a very good wide receiver that could completely take a hold of a game. I think being on Seattle helps a lot. And we saw last week, okay, it wasn't the best game, but he had a touchdown that got called back in that game too. So
Yeah, that
I
was
think
bullshit too.
he's a little going to be, this is what he is, but as long as Lockett is on this team, I think they're both going to be somewhat boom bust, and their boom games will be huge.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Metcalf is definitely more consistent than Lockett, but even he's not a model of consistency like some other wide receivers, which is fine. You don't need that from every wide receiver. He's just not like a Michael Thomas style, and it makes sense. But other than him, a lot of these guys are pretty much what you would expect. I can't even say you got a good team here. So I'll just talk about disappointment really quickly. Actually, the two guys that didn't perform on their team are both disappointments. So with Jonathan Taylor, I mean, I don't understand it because everything that you saw in college just is not showing up, which doesn't make sense. Like his vision is just gone, and I don't get how that's possible. But
yeah, and I don't want to be too much harp on it, but they're saying he's dealing with something.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's true or not,
could be, but I don't think
he's getting the workload. I just like everybody's saying he's not seeing the holes.
He's not. That's what. But that's what's
not
crazy because that was one of his best qualities in college.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the fact that in Wisconsin, he never needs to block because their offensive line is so good. So he's just only focusing on that now, maybe trying to figure out pass protection at the same time.
Right.
It's just in his head, even on plays where he's not even supposed to be pass protecting because it's a rushing play. It just might be in his head a lot. It might be a little overwhelming for him. And
I'm just going to hope this is a rookie wall.
I was going to say, we saw it with another Wisconsin running back with Melvin Gordon. His rookie year, everyone called him a bust, and then he ended up being a decent running back after that.
Yeah.
So,
we'll see.
Yeah. You got to give not everybody can click right away.
I'm not tilting about it. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
And then Justin
It's
Jefferson, it wasn't even him being a disappointment. It's just the Vikings decide that they just don't need to throw the ball, and it works.
Jeez, it's fucking 1940 over there. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Skylar's side, biggest surprise to me is got to be Justin Jackson getting 17 points, man. I mean, it was a decent game for me. Looked okay. And it's interesting to see that I thought Josh Kelly was going to be the guy that kind of breaks out in that backfield without Eckler, but it looks like it's technically Justin.
Jackson's just been better. It's just
Kelly
better.
has looked good. He's had flashes, but overall he's not looked that great.
Right.
Austin Eckler actually should be coming back within the next couple of weeks, so I'm sure they're really looking forward to that, to have the Herbert Eckler combo and see how that works out. Biggest disappointment on Skylar's team. I mean, he doesn't have a very good lineup anymore. So
Go ahead, Phil. You can say it. Go ahead, Phil.
Phil,
say
you
it.
could say it.
What?
He's a
The biggest-
quarterback.
His quarterback from Alabama.
Tua.
Yeah.
There you go.
That start just, he didn't show anything.
I didn't watch that game. I also thought Cole Beasley was going to have a much better game.
Was
And
John Brown back?
No, I don't think he was. I'm not sure, but everybody was saying Cole Beasley was like kind of a good candidate this week because of game script or whatever too. And I mean, even Robbie Anderson had his lowest point total. He had 9.8. So,
I'm pulling up John Brown really quick. There's a lot of Browns, so he's hard to find on here. But
I don't know. But I thought everybody was digging Cole Beasley.
He was back. He only had 2 targets, but when he's on the field, Cole Beasley doesn't get that unbelievable workload, which is funny that a guy only getting 2 targets in that game. The fact that Beasley wasn't able to still do well is kind of shocking. But the Bills also aren't as good as they were to begin the season.
I agree. All right, because our guest is here, I will allow him to do the Bins game of the week.
Yes.
I will do, where's Lucho's game? I cannot find it. Okay. So I'll do Lucho's game and then we'll go to Phil for the Bins game of the week.
The Bins game of Tom and Anthony.
So Shady Nasty or however you say it. Is that how you say it? It's probably how you say it, right?
You're
All
making
right,
you're making the real Always Sunny joke there.
I know. I too watch television.
Oh, really?
Anthony is Anthony is a weenie. A little bit of an upset here. I don't know if it is a huge
Bad week from Joey.
Really bad week, and there's reasons, but all right. So surprise and disappointment. Disappointment is looking at it quickly. There's a few, but I think the big one I'm looking at here is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has been pretty good after the first couple weeks. I mean, Scotty Miller, without Godwin would have been better.
NFL-wise, he's looked pretty bad, but fantasy-wise, he's been pretty good.
More interceptions or turnovers than Daniel Jones's, and that's saying something.
Carson Wentz is following. He's on the Jameis Winston path of 30 and 30. I think he's on track for 24 and 24 touchdowns and interceptions.
So question for the masses here. Carson Wentz, red hair, Irish? We don't know. Anyway.
Nah.
Surprising surprise. I mean, Bob Woods, man, dropping almost 30. I mean, he's good. I don't know if you necessarily
Bob Woods dropping 30 on a game that Cooper Kupp got 21 targets is kind of funny to me.
Absolutely surprising.
And a game where Cooper Kupp had a good fantasy week. Bob Woods had a good fantasy week, and Jared Goff sucked.
Facts. So I guess for Dog's team, I mean, you could go a lot of places here, but Kenny Galladay getting hurt, I guess.
Hurt/disgruntled.
Yeah. I mean, I would group the running backs in there. Mike Davis and Darrell Henderson have really come back down to earth, especially Mike Davis, who was just a fatter version of Christian McCaffrey for a while.
CMC is supposed to be back this Sunday. So.
Yeah, so that train's good. But hey, guess what? He gets to replace him with Christian McCaffrey. Anyway, and I guess surprise has got to be Corey Davis, almost dropping 30. And I mean, Corey Davis is actually a player that
quietly good year.
I think he's missed a game or two. I'm not entirely
sure. He did miss
right.
2 games.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and he had a bye week already. So
yeah, so he had a 3-game block.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, anytime anybody on your team puts up a goose egg, you're probably not gonna win. But yeah, this one I was surprised by. I mean, honestly, it's a little disappointing on Lucho's lineup just because feel like with that lineup, it could have been a bit better. I mean, it was pretty consistent, but guys like Scotty Miller and DJ Moore didn't even really do anything. And even Mark Andrews was pretty quiet with Carson Wentz. So, hey, a win's a win. You take it in, you run.
Yep. Lucho needed it too.
Yes, he did. I needed it too, and I appreciate that beating douche.
So you needed a Joey loss, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, I just really felt for Lucho. You know, I just really needed
Joey's team. You know, I'm a little. I don't want to be over dramatic here, but I'm a little worried because Sam Darnold is now his QB2 because Minshew's hurt, and Kenny Galladay has this injury, and Darrell Henderson seems to be banged up, and Ronald Jones is dropping passes and fumbling the ball and letting Fournette
being Ronald Jones.
So I'm just Joey's starting guys like Deontay Harris. It's a little worrisome, his roster right now.
Right. We said it's volatile.
Getting CMC back is going to help a lot.
Best medicine for
that's why I don't want to be too reactionary to this. Yeah.
So Phil, as our guest, your honor to do the Bins game of the week presented by Zeke and Anthony Lascazzo Jr. Jr.
The second.
What do you got?
All right. So 190, what is it? 186 to 116. I'm going to start with the Tom side. And I'm going to say the biggest disappointment, it's really easy to say Le'Veon Bell, but I'm actually going to say Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. For the season. Yeah.
Or just the game against the Steelers. Just them losing, playing from behind. You really expect more from him. And then obviously the surprise going off, Dalvin Cook. I mean, 51 points. Just that is indispensable in a lineup.
We have no longer a time limit.
They gave me a gift because I'm probably a new account, so we don't have to do this bullshit.
Hey, suck it, Bruce.
Yeah, suck it, Bruce. And good thing because Lucho died, and he wouldn't have been able to splice our videos together. So,
all right, good. All right, keep going, Phil.
Yeah. So talking about Dalvin Cook just having one hell of a game, he's probably the one who this whole week had the best week in fantasy.
Oh, I think I mentioned this to you. Running backs in general this week were awful because unless you had Dalvin Cook, because Kamara had 20 something points, maybe 30 points in our league, something like that. That was the 27th best performance by a running back this season, which is pretty low for the second best running back on a week. So if you didn't have Dalvin Cook, you were disappointed in running backs. And if you had Dalvin Cook, you were ecstatic.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes up into the next couple of weeks, because the Vikings are facing some even easier rush defenses. So if they start to find that this is really clicking, it could be invaluable to have.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. Cowboys, Panthers, Jaguars. That's a good block right there.
It sucks that the playoffs is when it starts to get more difficult. But right now, Tom has a
me.
Yeah. And then jumping over to Anthony's team, how do you say who's the most disappointing? Probably Marquise Brown.
It's the Ravens. Everyone on the Ravens is disappointed. And I'm just going to say it. Lamar Jackson sucks. Like,
wow.
He's staying afloat for fantasy because he can run, but he sucks. Like, for an NFL purposes right now, he's just not a good QB.
They're making him throw it more. And I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the year, and not to be on too much of a tangent, but the thing is with the NFL, guys like this kind of flash in the pan sometimes. And the league figures it out. Or even the coaching staff will be like, here's what you're good at, but what we need you to do is this. And like, I think that's the case there too, especially because like Ingram's not dominating the way he was. I mean, who does he really have to throw the ball to other than Marquise? I mean,
Mark Andrews is solid, but even Mark Andrews is having drops. And
I mean, their number two is Willie Snead. He's nothing special.
Yeah.
I mean,
they need to. That
Duvernay's
coaching
not
staff
playing.
needs to design plays where he can dump the ball off, because they don't do that. And most of the teams in the league leave these outlets for them to dump the ball off when they're in trouble, but they don't do that in Baltimore because they just expect Lamar to run. But if everyone knows they're running, you saw with the Steelers, there were plays where like on that fourth down play, everyone knew that Lamar was going to run. And the Steelers clearly did too, because Ravens ran a bunch of guys right in this, all the bunch of guys from the slot. They all went out to the outside and then Lamar tried to run the middle, and all the linebackers in the Steelers just didn't move and didn't get baited by these receivers going out to the outside. So,
yeah, I think just last week when they picked up Dez and put him on the practice squad, they made a point to say that they have the worst receiving core in the league. And I think that is hugely telling of his ability as a quarterback. If you don't have the people to throw to, I guess you can compare him to Carson Wentz facing all those injuries, still making it.
Most quarterbacks in the league, they will not overcome bad receiving cores. You need to be a real special quarterback to be able to just make everyone good.
Yeah. And now that we've absolutely shitted on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, let's say the high point of Anthony's week, I'm going to say Mike Williams putting up 21 against the Broncos pass defense.
Just missed out on a 2-point bonus, 5 receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown and 1 rushing yard. If that 1 rushing yard was a receiving yard instead, he would have been okay.
I even think Curtis Samuel might be mine for surprise, just because Robbie Anderson didn't get much.
Curtis Samuel had a nice Thursday night game. I didn't really see Mike Williams too much because it was part of the Sunday slate. And
Curtis Samuel was like a long line of Ohio State receivers that are actually running backs, but they just don't know it. So anything else there, Phil, or is that pretty much it for you for the Bins game of the week?
I didn't pick Curtis Samuel just because of the opponent.
Hey.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Close. All right, anyway, so like I said, I hope you liked the wrap-ups there. I think that was good. Phil, kudos to you. Hopefully you're happy with the Bins game of the week honors as we bestowed on you. So I'm going to read off the current standings. Current standings read as follows.
And this
Bruce at 7-1.
This does have the potential points order for 7th through 12th.
Okay. our audience should know that by now. But
Well, when Bruce did
keep
the
up.
sheet that one time, it wasn't. So I just want to clarify.
Right. Okay,
I do the sheet correctly.
you do it properly.
Thank you.
All right, so Bruce 7-1. In second, me at 6-2. At third, Dog 6-2. 4. So stupid. Nick at 5-3. Fifth, Phil at 5-3. Sixth, Al 4-4. Seventh, Luch at 3-5. 8, Thom 4-4. 9, Alex 4-5-4. I got it right the first time. Kyle at 3-5 at 10th. 11th is Anthony 1-7. Skylar 0-8.
Anthony finally gave up that number one spot with potential points, and it's not looking good for him to try to get that back. Skylar's team looks pretty goddamn awful right now.
Yep. Okay, so power rankings read as follow: Bruce, myself, Dog, Al, Phil, Thom, Nick, Luch, Alex, Kyle, Anthony, and not so surprisingly, Skylar. Fantasy playoff odds.
We brought
Now,
this one up a couple weeks ago. I thought it was a good time to get this update back in here.
Okay. So right now, Bruce, greater than 99%.
Did not clinch yet.
Did not clinch yet. Maybe clinching his butt cheeks, but not clinching a spot. My computer just stopped updating, so now I'll actually not sound like a fucking robot.
Thank you.
Joey,
You were having some issues there.
yeah, through through everything I did, or just in general.
Oh, just in general. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was really bad. I have to leave it open more. That's my bad. Joey, 95%. Myself at 96%. I don't know if I said that. Nick at 66.
Clear
Phil
tier
at-
break after you three.
Yes.
So
Phil
I
at
could-
60.
I could say right now that it's pretty likely that you three are going to be in the playoffs, and the rest is wide open.
I agree with that. You, Al at 63, Thom at 59, Alex at 31, Luch at 21,
Enough
Kyle
drop.
at 10, Anthony less than 1%. and
Not
Skylar-
eliminated yet. Anthony
and
not eliminated
Skylar
yet.
at 0.
And Skylar's eliminated.
0. Good
Yep.
God, I didn't know. I didn't know that. That's pretty upsetting. Anyway, moving past that, I think those are pretty. I think that's a pretty accurate sentiment there. Basically saying that. We have an update.
I had it in the wrong order.
Oh, all right, whatever. Yeah, so I think you're right. There is a clear break there. I think Nick's is probably going to keep falling. I think yours and Phil's are going to keep rising.
Ooh, see, Phil doesn't really believe that. We were just talking about that.
I do. Anyway, so we'll go to trades really quick. We only really had one kind of minor. Good move for both of you guys, I think. You get the handcuff to Joe Mixon. So
It was for, I don't even care about the handcuff to Joe Mixon at all. It was just Joe Mixon was already ruled out. So
Right.
I was doing this for the 1 week rental so that make sure I had a better chance of beating Nick.
Right. So the trading question is JaMychal Hasty to Anthony for Giovanni Bernard back to Alex. Good trade all around. I mean, it's a lottery ticket for Anthony. Don't think it's anything. I don't think JaMychal Hasty is going to be anything special. I think he's going to be okay. But anything as we're learning with San Francisco is a fucking crapshoot. So especially with their running backs. So kudos to you guys for getting the deal done.
Yep.
And
Not the messed up one where I accidentally gave him the second round pick.
Yeah. So you need to keep your sticky fingers off the computer screen for a little bit. All right. So notable waiver claims. This one was a big week. I'm actually surprised. I didn't see this being a big waiver week, but I guess it was. So
And
we're gonna
like I said, this is just the notable waivers. There are even a couple more pickups other than this.
All right. So we'll read them off, and then because there's so many, we'll talk about them pretty quickly. Skylar picked up Jake Luton as a free agent.
This was a last week move, which
I
looks to be
thought about this, but I didn't do it because I didn't think they'd move on from Minshew. But it looks like this good move by him because, hey, listen, what happens if it might work? Who knows? We don't know, but
Bolst.
could be. All right, so this is the one I really wanted to talk about. Phil picked up Des Bryant for $76, outbidding Alex Hotchberg by $74, and Anthony by $76. Phil, please explain yourself.
Goes back to how we were talking about the Ravens, that their wide receiver core is one of the worst in the league. I figured if he jumps up to even be in a similar role as Marquise Brown, if he's in the top 40 or even the top 50 wide receivers, I figured worth $76.
At this point in the season, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
I've said on previous episodes, I don't care about the money spent at this point. Get the guy you want.
Right. It's just always funny in hindsight when you're like,
when you see what other people bid. Yeah.
Right.
I could have been 5 for him. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next one. Al picked up Nick Mullins again. He's back. Big wiener Nick for $43, outbidding Joey by $1.
I don't know what Joey's doing because I would have bid more than 43 if I had it, but I only had $43 left. So I dumped my remaining fab, and I don't know why Joey would bid 42.
Yeah.
Not just go 44, but maybe he didn't realize I only had $43 left. And that's all I could think of is maybe he was like, oh yeah, I'll bid like 40. Let me throw $2 on
I think he probably thought that was more than enough. I mean, I would too. Alex bid 20. Alex Hochberg bid 29, and Anthony bid a whopping $2. Just taking that fab with him to the grave.
I do just want to note really quickly on this. I was just telling Phil that Nick Mullins sucks, and I still agree he does suck. But super flex, worth a shot, knowing Jimmy G is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks at least. Maybe
any quarterback's worth a shot on.
But especially in San Francisco, maybe for some reason Nick Mullins all of a sudden looks great in 6 weeks, and they decide to give him a shot for next year.
Yeah,
I doubt it, but it was worth it.
I mean, that's the logic too. Like I've held on to Taysom Hill since Kyle's dropped them for who knows? You never know.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, good pickup. You get your guy. I probably should have put money on him. I didn't feel like dropping Taysom Hill. All right. Skyler picked up Jordan Reed.
Yeah, Skyler with those tight ends.
$35 hairs, and Bruce bid 32. Bruce must be distraught. I didn't even think Jordan Reed was healthy. I thought it was going to be
technically not healthy yet. He just might be healthy.
All right. I thought it was going to be Ross Dwelly there, but I also think we won't know for sure. But all right. Next one. I picked up Jordan Wilkins for 33 bones. I bid $0 apparently on him in there somehow. Joey bid 9, Kyle bid 0, I bid 0. He's looked better than Jonathan Taylor, and at this point, if for whatever reason, if he's down with an injury, like he's been dealing with that, he's a guy there. I know Nyheim Hines is probably the guy, but Jordan Wilkins was better than
Nyheim Hines. Will never be more than the
satellite
back that just gets a lot of work because it's Phil Rivers
or a gymnast. We don't.
Gymnastics. Didn't know he was.
Jesus Christ, that was ridiculous. Like
now he has a future outside of the NFL.
I'm happy about that. Now, this one I'm actually a little upset I didn't bid more on was Auden Tate, Alex Hochberg, 31. I only bid 10. Young wide receiver had a pretty good week last week, and I just in that offense with Joe Burrow, he just, especially with like a guy like Tyler Boyd doing as well as he did, like I kind of wish I would have spent more on that, but that could be a sneaky good pickup. I'm not sure. I think that you guys might not, but I'm a fan of that pickup. So, all right, next one. Thom picked up Tyler Ervin, running back, for $30. Nobody bid anything. Garrett Gilbert, 21. Nobody bid anything. And Jakeem Grant, $11. I actually put a $0 bid in on Jakeem Grant, I think.
I was just finding this funny because I picked up Jakeem Grant last week because I made that trade on a Monday night, and I was like, well, I have an empty roster spot. Let me just pick up anybody that I can still pick up. And since he was on a bye week, I was like, yeah, sure, Jakeem Grant. Then I drop him, and then now people are bidding on him. I just found that kind of funny.
Who did the Dolphins just trade?
It was Isaiah Ford.
That was my logic because that's one guy less on the roster. So hey, it's a dart throw, but who knows? And then lastly, Anthony picked up PJ Walker, the coach's son, for 18, and Cooper Rush for 0. I think that Cooper Rush pickup is actually kind of good for nothing. Could be something, who knows, because Gucci Benucci, whatever the hell his name is fucking awful. Awful. All right.
Surprise segment here. It's not even a real segment. I'm just going to mention it. Chris Willard texted me asking what your number was, Dennis. So don't know what that's about, but.
Oh, I just was on. I saw him before. Hold on. I think I have his number.
Oh, well, I just texted him here. So
All right, that's fine. All right, anyway. All
Anyway.
right, so okay, if you're listening, Chris Willard, how are you? Just saw you like 3 hours ago. Mid-season MVPs. Still, we didn't keep you in on this because you weren't part of the plans. We're sorry. You're a good guy. We apologize. You got great hair, great beard. Not gray, great.
Yeah.
Think of just while we're talking, if unless you want to chime in.
Worked. I knew that this was coming, so I'm working on it now.
Very good, very good, very good. Okay, so I am not going to read off our Lucho and Bruce's because they're
them.
not here.
They don't deserve.
They're not here. They're
Yeah.
not here. So Al, if you have yours up, feel free. I gotta find.
So I know that this was my idea, but I didn't prepare anything. So I will. How about we do this? Let's all.
I have it if you need some time.
I was gonna say let's all pick our quarterbacks first, and then once
Okay.
I finish mine and you guys go on to yours, I'll start thinking about the other positions.
Okay.
So for my QB MVP, this is a tough one. I have 3 choices,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna pick Justin Herbert for this one, just because a guy that you weren't even expecting to be a big factor for your team this year, and especially for Bruce to get him in the late first round is a steal right now. And Justin Herbert right now is the QB5 on a points per game basis this year. So it's just that looks great right now. And as a rookie, he's just doing awesome things. He gave Bruce the flexibility to move Drew Brees and pick up some draft picks, and just the rich get richer with the champ getting Justin Herbert.
Yeah. I'm going to go and play it safe here because what I want from a quarterback situation is just consistency, and that's Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's just been a fucking stud. And I mean, we know he's good, but now that he has like Metcalf becoming his own, Lockett being even better, and even guys like elevating guys like David Moore, and
right.
He's you just for me personally, I know it's boring to take the number one guy, but I mean, you know what you're getting every single fucking week with him, and it's the best quarterback play in the league. So I'm going Russell Wilson there. Easy. Phil, you got somebody?
That was going to be my answer, but I'm going to rebuttal. I'm going to say Kyler Murray.
That was my other choice. Those were actually my 3 choices: Russ,
Right.
Kyler, and then Herbert. So
Yeah, so I'll argue for Kyler Murray. The age difference between him and Russell Wilson, I'd rather have Kyler Murray as my MVP for Dynasty.
I like
Honest.
it.
Plus the
He's-
rushing too. The rushing is like the added element there
Yes.
that really I don't even really think any quarterback has this year.
I mean, Lamar is still rushing enough. He's just
Yeah.
not passing like Kyler is.
Correct. It's an added bonus because I guess more or less referring to a guy like Josh Allen that's not really
Yeah.
doing that anymore.
He's a little bit of a
quit
stump.
it.
Yeah.
All right. So running back, Al, go ahead if you've got your running back up.
So this is going to be an interesting one here. So I thought about this as I'm looking at this list. I had a couple options. I'm not going to mention them in case they're one of your guys' picks. If no one picks them, I might mention them at the end really quick. But I'm going to go with what would be the chalk answer on a normal non-injury year. And I'm going to spice it up by saying my running back MVP is the Christian McCaffrey, Mike Davis combination. I'm going to say that specifically for our league because Joey has both of them. So the fact that having Christian McCaffrey, who after 2 weeks looked like the same old Christian McCaffrey we always saw, maybe he isn't getting as ridiculous as a workload as he was at the as last year. I don't know how different it might have been different by like a carry or two.
Yeah.
Pretty negligible. But the fact that he was, 2 games he averaged 26.65 and one of those he got hurt in. And then to immediately be able to move on to Mike Davis, who up until recently he was getting 23, 22, 29 points. It's like to have a running back like that, knowing you're getting all this workload on the team, it's nice to have. And I know Mike Davis has been a little disappointed the past 2 weeks, but Chris McCaffrey's coming back, so I'm keeping that as my MVP.
That's more than fair, especially because it, like you said, it makes sense for our league because the owner who has both has both. For me, I'm going with Kamara. Kamara once again in PPR formats is a little more than 30 points ahead of the next person, Dalvin Cook, even with the injury. I know Dalvin Cook is probably realistically the one guy you kind of want on your team, but what Kamara does out of the backfield, I think is much better than Cook. And what's I think even more impressive about Kamara is that he's playing on an offense with a quarterback who can't fucking stretch the field. So he's going up against stacked boxes all the time where without Michael Thomas, he was the offense. And for him to do what he did and not just be a compiler, but like actually like dominate games, it's so impressive to me. I genuinely think he's the best running back in the league talent-wise right now. I mean, you could debate that if you want, but I'm a big fan of Kamara's. But yeah, that's what I would go with. So Phil, if you said thought Kamara, I apologize.
No, two answers in a row. You've said exactly what I was going to say. So it's like I'm scrambling to like come up with another point. It's hard to argue anybody besides Kamara for MVP. Potentially, just for what they're doing with what they've been given, maybe drop it down to running back. I think 5, James Robinson.
That was my other choice. I was going to mention, but
just the consistency on an offense that has been playing from behind, even in games where they're behind, when the game script doesn't allow for running backs to usually be getting points. James Robinson has consistently been averaging 19.5.
And for a guy that was a waiver pickup in our league.
Undrafted, free agent.
A guy that no one knew was coming either.
I doubt that we're gonna. I know later on, me and Al talked about this. Is eventually we're gonna do like waiver pickups of the year, but I find it hard. I find it hard to believe that anybody's gonna beat James Robinson, even with me jerking myself off with Travis Fulgham. James Robinson is a money shot.
It's funny that you said that, because out of the top 64 players, by average, Travis Fulgham is scoring 19.7, while James Robinson is scoring 19.51. So Fulgham has been more consistent with his average.
There we are on the same wavelength again, Phil. All right, let's go to wide receiver now. Wide receiver for you, Al.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was listening to your guys' arguments because I was just so intrigued by this that I wasn't even looking yet. Can you save me for third?
Sure. Actually, do you have one? Because I promise you it's not the one I have. Go ahead.
Oh, perfect. DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, fair enough. Why is that?
Enough said.
Coming onto a new offense, a lot of people were down on him going into this year, not really knowing what he was going to put up, getting used to new routes, new coaching, everything new. Consistent. You pretty much know what you're going to get every week, except for I think week 4, and he still put up double digits. Oh, week 6 as well. But for that adjustment, I like him.
To look at week 4 and week 6, I know it was 9, but and then you brought up week 4. It's like, yeah, I mean, week 4 wasn't that great. He still got 11 points. It's not like he hurt my team by getting 11 or even 9. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Al, did you get one or no?
No.
Okay. So this is a bit of something I didn't even think was a thing. If you look at the top 20 wide receivers, there's only one name on that list that really you didn't think was going to be there, and that's Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, I remember texting Thom saying, I forgot what week he was. I was like, dude, 20 points from Tyler Boyd. That's sick. He's wide receiver number 8. He's only a little shy of 15 back from wide receiver 1, too. I mean, and he's above guys like Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper, Robbie Anderson, Bob Woods, Adam Thielen, Keenan Allen, like guys like that. That's crazy. And I mean, I know Joe Burrow probably has a lot to do with that, but I mean, if you have a guy like Tyler Boyd on your roster, you were just like, all right, cool, maybe I'll plug this guy in on bye weeks, or he's my wide receiver 4 or my flex, but he's your wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 on a team. You know, I'm very shocked by that. But hey, listen, you know, if you saw
the
that
one
coming,
thing with Tyler Boyd is he has not had his bye week. His bye week is now, so he's still
still
wide receiver 16 in points per game basis.
Right, but even still, like with a bye week, a top 20 guy, like that's
sure.
still pretty good. Like I'm still okay with that. So yeah, bit of a hipster answer, but look at this beard coming in. Anyway, Al, I can't stall any longer. I hope you have something.
So this is a tough one because I remember my quarter season. If it wasn't for the injuries, I would have said Jamison Crowder because just the fact that you're getting 21.5 points from him on average. But I mean, the injuries, I just got to remove him from this because the guy can't stay healthy. It seems like.
Yeah, he pulls his groin every 3 weeks, so it's.
Oh man! So I guess this is tough. This is tough. You know what, Dennis? You're going to be happy about this one. I'm going to give my half season MVP to Travis Fulgham. He's wide receiver 6 on a points per game basis. So you could take out those couple games at the beginning of the year where he wasn't even on the field. Right. But as soon as the guy comes on, he was just a random wide receiver. Got snaps because everybody was hurt, and he looks great. And the fact that I know it's only 1 week of having Rager, who's also a rookie, back, but Rager was on the field and Goddard was on the field this past week, and Fulgham still got just under 20 points. So,
and that's why you always check the waiver wire at 2:30 in the morning before you go to bed, or whenever you go to bed. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, whenever you go to bed. I'll be interested to see as they get healthier how that goes. But I mean, looks like a player. All right, tight end. Phil, do you have a tight end?
Kelsey.
It's hard to argue that.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that, but I will try. I mean, I think you could throw Robert Tonyan in. I mean, I haven't started him. Tonyan.
It's like
whatever.
It's like Funyun.
Yeah, he's the Funyun. I mean, another waiver wire pickup. We'll see if that continues. I don't know if it will. I mean, you could maybe even say Hawkinson, but I don't know. Al, do you have anybody else? Or
I mean, I was considering Hawkinson, but because of our league and him being on Anthony's team, I'm not going to say it. I don't have an argument for anybody else. It's Travis Kelce. The guy's just ridiculous. So,
and has a weird goatee. Anyway, that's a thing.
We have I can't spoil the surprise, but there is a Travis Kelce related discussion that happened the other day with some people we know, and you'll find out later.
Did Chris Willard text me, by the way, because he wanted my number? He didn't give it to me. He didn't text me yet.
Maybe he texted. I don't know. Well, he didn't answer me, but
all right, whatever.
It's not. And the Travis Kelce thing has nothing to do with Chris Willard. It's people listen to this podcast. By the time they listen to this podcast, they may know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. So
it has nothing to do with the Dynasty League or anything. It's just
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce related.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that means.
Real life purposes.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so week 6 previews and predictions. We're going to go with the bye weeks as we usually do. We're going to start it off with the bye weeks. All right. Philly, LA, Cleveland, Cincinnati.
I forgot to delete this this line. This was from a previous thing. So I did not change. I was rushing at this point. So
it's fine. I didn't even. Did I say week 6? I mean,
I had week 6 and 9.
Oops.
I meant to say week 9. That's my fault.
I didn't say anything wrong. I was like, okay. Anyway,
you're just reading the sheet. It's like I'm the teleprompter guy, and I messed you up.
I'm Ron Burgundy. That's pretty much what I do here. I mean, maybe not the biggest bye week of all time, but there are some pretty guys like Cup and Fulgham's and other Ragers and other Mixon, I guess. Well, he's
Mixon / Gio, yeah. Baker, Jarvis. I don't know. There's enough relevant guys here.
It's not the biggest one. I think next week is a bigger one for sure. I know for a fact it's bigger next week.
Well, the Chiefs are on bye next week, so
yeah. So it's half my team.
I play Skyler. Out nice for me.
I play Anthony. So if I was ever gonna be a week where
you and me have the most Chiefs on our roster. I think we have.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Since I made that running back.
So we'll read them off here. And we'll go quickly through as we usually do. So here we go. The Not Stupid Podcast game of the week. I saw this coming. Denzel at 6-2 versus Brucey Goosey, 7-1. Phil versus Thom, 4-4. That's another good game, actually. That's a big game for both of you guys. Al and Al play each other at 4-4. That's another big game.
It's the mirror matchup. Al versus Al, 4-4, 4-4.
Anthony plays Lucho, 1-7 and 3-5. Dog plays Nick at 6-2, 5-3. That's another big game for both of them. I don't necessarily see how that's going to go. And then where are we? And then the Bins game of the week presented by Zeke and Anthony Laskowser, Jr. Jr. the second. Is Kyle at 3-5, Skyler at 0-8. All right, so we will start off with mine and Bruce's. I will go to you guys first, and I'll finish it up. I have some thoughts there, but I'd like to hear what you guys have to say first. So, Al, if you want to take it, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to take a look at these rosters really quickly. Sorry, I don't have it pulled up. I was updating the sheet. Dennis, who do you have on bye? So I'll just ask you since you're here.
Fulgham, I think, is really the only one I would start.
Gotcha. And then Mike isn't missing anybody either, but he just lost some injuries. All right. So, this is a tough one, but based on how Mike's team is trending and the fact that Zeke looks bad, Aaron Jones might still be injured. We don't know yet. Josh Allen hasn't been as good as he was at the beginning of the season. I still think, not to say that this is going to happen this week, but with Justin Herbert, at some point, I don't think he's going to keep up this 25 point per game pace that he's been doing. I don't know if it'll happen this week, but I'll give the possibility that it could happen this game. Who is he playing? He's playing the Raiders. Yeah, probably won't happen this game, but and the fact that Mike, so he just lost Kittle. I know he still has Waller. Calvin Ridley's dealing with injury. He just has a lot of things going against him. I think this is a good time to be playing him, Dennis. I'm going to go with you.
Oh, okay. All right, Phil, you.
It's hard to root for a team that's got so many injuries. I had to.
Phil knows how that feels.
Losing those big pieces just makes everything else so much harder to fit. Obviously, Bruce is one of those teams that has a lot of depth at a lot of places. It's really going to come down to how he sets his lineup. He was always able to start 3 running backs. Now he's going to have to pick, which receivers he puts in. But the way they've been performing as well, it's an interesting week, but I think it'll come down to whether Darren Waller puts up a lot of points or not. That is my prediction, that it comes down to a tight end.
If you had to guess who's going to win.
I'm going to go with Dennis.
I don't believe in myself this week. I understand Bruce's team is trending downward, but we can see any given week his team just explode for 200 points. I don't necessarily believe in my running back situation right now. I think that's the big glaring weakness on my team. If Jonathan Taylor plays, which I don't know if he will or how effective he will be, I mean, I have to start him because I don't necessarily feel comfortable starting Jerick McKinnon on a Thursday night, which you don't really think you can. And then after that, we start Gus.
Plus, his legs might still be tired.
Yeah, I can't fucking believe that happened. But I think if Crowder plays, I think I like my chances a little bit more because Fulgham is really the only bye I have. But I'm going to go with Bruce just because I don't feel super confident in my running back situation again. So, all right. So by unanimous decision, I win, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. All right. So Phil versus Thom. Al, if you have any thoughts, feel free to.
Yeah, sure. I know Thom is missing some players too, like Godwin and things like that, but his team is starting to surge a little bit. I know Dalvin Cook was a big reason for that, but Devontae Adams has been a target hog lately. They didn't make a move at the deadline for any wide receiver help, so I don't see any reason why that would change, especially if Aaron Jones doesn't play and they have no other running back besides Tyler Ervin and Dexter Williams. Phil's team is hurting. It's hurting. We've talked about this. He's missing a lot of big pieces. Brandon Ayuk just got put on the COVID list too. So the 49ers really have nobody after that, but Phil's team is struggling with who he's going to put in and who he could play. I think I got to give the odds is that Tom will win this one.
I mean, we have Phil on the show for the second time, and I don't really want to insult this man, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. I just, and no offense to yourself. I mean, it's case of situation. And I mean, like you said, with Dalvin Cook, good situation. And then Devontae Adams just looks like otherworldly sometimes. So could it go the other way? I think so. But right now, I got to go with Thom.
You need Aaron Jones to play.
Yeah, I just kind of want
Jones
to
to play. So Adams is a target hog.
Yeah. Phil, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say to Tom personally, you said you were going to change your name for 1 week, and it's been Brother Billo a while. So I'd like to read you and say, Tom, your mom looks like a panini press.
Whoa. Can we say that on air? I don't know if we can. But,
we might get flagged like Tom and Kyle's podcast.
Yeah. How about our podcast not being taken down for 21 straight days?
I'm sure it's because nobody can find it.
Yeah, it's
hidden under the Lucho
paywall. The Lucho paywall.
The Lucho paywall, yeah.
Yeah. As our matchup goes, my vote is for Tom. His team, like you said, he's got a lot of things surging, a lot of things looking good. And again, with the last matchup, just not betting on an injured team. I've got Dak hurt, Odell Beckham hurt, Kenyon Drake hurt. It's Brandon Ayuk and Debo both not playing. That's five starters. The rest of my team, admittedly, is a lot of boom bust, and it would need to be a lot of boom to beat Tom this week. So I will not.
That was the dumbest thing. That was so stupid. Yes, keep going. Sorry, ignore me. That was so funny.
Over. Yeah, not winning this week. It's over.
Unless there's a lot of boom.
Unless there's a lot of boom.
Can't win if you don't have the boom. So stupid. Anyway. Okay.
Is Dennis really crying right now?
I think so.
Bro, it wasn't even what you said. It was how you said it. You were just like, and I need a lot of boom.
Admittedly, my team is a lot of players left are boom or bust, and I'm gonna need a lot of boom.
Yeah, we need to make that a t-shirt. Yeah, we need to make that a t-shirt. That's hysterical. All right.
With just Phil's face just
and then mine on the back just in tears. That'd be fucking hysterical. All right.
You're like the little one that goes up at the top that like
see, look, if you don't believe me, you might look at my eyes. Fucking,
yeah.
It's hysterical. All right. So in that situation, both teams go to 5-4 there. Okay, cool. I'm composed myself now. Jesus Christ, this is hysterical. All right. So Al plays Al. 4-4. Phil, we're gonna go back to you here. What do you think? Who do you like there?
I think Al wins.
Good choice.
I think so too. Because
they're Owls.
Yes. It's this one's tough. This one's tough for me because like I know I'm gonna in the long run I'm going to say Al Sape, but as I saw against my team with Alex Totsberg's team, he went bonkers.
Can I chime in really quickly?
Go for it. Yeah.
I just want to give my opinion because I have some information that maybe you're unaware of, but I think I have a pretty high certainty to win this game because Alex doesn't have a quarterback because Baker Mayfield is on a bye and Matt Stafford just got put on the COVID list. So unless Matt Stafford clears in time for the game, which is possible, we don't know if he's test positive, if he's a high risk close contact and has to sit out, but he was not practicing and what's his name? Chase Daniel and who's the other quarterback that was there? I don't know. And the other guy were both splitting reps during practice. So if Alex doesn't have a quarterback at all, he has no shot. Also, he just lost Myles Gaskin to injury, sprained MCL. Chris Carson might not be back. I know he has DJ Dallas now. The Eagles are on a bye, so Boston Scott doesn't do anything. Maybe he'll get Michael Thomas, but his team's hurting a little bit too, and I think my team is starting to surge. So
yeah, I mean, I was always gonna find my way back to that, but yeah, I mean, if you don't have a quarterback,
that was the big one. If he doesn't have a quarterback,
so yeah, I mean, and I also, by the way, I texted Alex Hochberg saying thanks for the one motherfuck week you had. I really appreciate you taking that one out on me. But yeah, Phil, you agree with that, or you?
Yeah, even Jamal Williams on the COVID list.
Oh yeah, Jamal Williams doesn't have him either now.
Is that? Yeah. Are they going to play that game tomorrow?
They are. It's on apparently.
And I just picked up Chase Daniel. Okay. Anyway,
nice.
There you go. Now you owe me something. Anyway,
I owe you something. It's more like you owe me something if he has a good game.
I'm not going to start him.
I'll take that I'll take that conditional Bud Light or something.
Oh, the beer Chatsies. All right.
Well, no, that's a little expensive for just Chase Daniel. I was thinking more like a random can you might have.
You can have a beer out of my fridge. That's
okay.
Or a glass of bourbon. All right.
Ooh,
anyway.
Okay.
So not the $200 one. Anything else is fine. No, just kidding. You can have whatever you want. Anyway, so if one team goes to 5-4, the other team goes to 4-5. Okay. So then we will go to Anthony Loscalzo, JR, Junior, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, versus Luch. I think I just want to say Luch there, but I mean, does Luch have any crazy bye weeks or anybody on bye? I mean, like
he's missing Miles Sanders still.
Yeah.
Where's his team on here? I know. Robert Woods. Yeah. Sorry, Phil. I noticed that you being on your phone when Dennis or I are talking and you try to talk, it cuts out your sound.
Yeah. Okay. Just like there. Anyway, where is
he's missing Carson Wentz, obviously.
Right.
He's missing Greg Ward. Yeah, that's the same. The Eagles. It's Goddard. Hooper's out, so he has Mark Andrews. It's not horrible, but it's not the best for Lucho, especially losing Wentz, I think, is the big one to have to start Phillip Rivers and Cam Newton this week.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony's missing Godwin, Van Jefferson.
Godwin.
Not Godwin. What is it? Marquise Goodwin. Well, he's dead anyway. It doesn't really matter. You know what? I'm going to turn this on its head. I think Anthony's going to win this. And I don't know if I necessarily feel confident in saying that, but Anthony's had some okay weeks and got some crap luck. I think Anthony might pull this off.
I'm going to go with it's a 50-50 shot. And if I had to pick the coin flip, like I really do think this match was a coin flip. And if you forced gun to my head, had to pick someone, I'm going to agree with you and pick Anthony.
Ooh. Phil?
I'm going to say Lucho.
Lucho will appreciate that.
Yeah. I think he just has more the consistent talent at running back, even with the bye weeks and stuff. I think he has a better chance of filling in his lineup with guys that'll perform rather than Anthony.
Well, Phil, you pick Lucho, but by consensus, we have Anthony winning. That will, I mean, not officially, but that'll almost put the nail in the coffin for Lucho's 2020 season.
I mean, realistically, I mean, like you said, this is a coin toss. I think I just want to believe that Anthony might win. It probably won't happen, but
I actually believe it could be Anthony. So
I'm sticking with it. All right. So then Joey at 6-2, Nick at 5-3. Normally could have been the game of the week, but there
normally
was
good.
Normally good. Joey versus now. Will Joey have back CMC for this week? Yes.
He should. It's not confirmed, but he should.
I'm gonna just honestly, without even looking at the rosters, Nick doesn't have a second quarterback. And
Amari Cooper's dog shit now.
Yeah, and I don't know who dog has really on bye, but I think it's gonna be Joey. Actually, I don't think this one's gonna be close either.
So I actually wrote it on the sheet by accident without waiting for mine and Phil's opinion because I don't think I've made mine. But Joey, he gets all his Washington football team players back, which is half of his roster apparently. But like I said, starting Sam Darnold is better than not having a second quarterback like Nick. But I mean, Joey's going to be
Isn't
missing.
Darnold hurt? I thought Darnold was hurt.
He's semi-hurt, but they say he should be good to go. But if he is hurt, then Joey doesn't have anybody. I mean, Dwayne Haskins would be his second quarterback. But I guess no, Dwayne Haskins isn't the starter. He wouldn't have anybody. He would only have one. So I guess
Maybe if you're going to have just one quarterback,
But-
Russell Wilson's like not the worst.
Joey's missing Darrell Henderson this week. He gets Gibson back. He'll have CMC. So I guess that's fine. He still has Ronald Jones if Ronald Jones is reliable. But Kenny Galladay has this injury. It looks like he's going to be out. McLaurin and Christian Kirk are back. Denzel Mims, I guess he could put in. Corey Davis has been good for him. So he has options, and then he could. Yeah, it's good. I think it's going to be close. But
I just don't see it.
I think it's going to be close because I don't know. I have to see after Joey only scored 100 points. I know maybe this Washington football team stuff will make it easier, but I think it's going to be close. But I do still pick Joey.
Phil, you in agreement there, or you want to go off the deep end?
I'm Joey unless Nick makes a move.
I want to put it on the podcast. I told Al I almost had a trade with Nick, but I actually thought it was a bad one, and I almost wanted to do it just to say I got Nick to trade. But I almost traded him Brady, but I don't want to give up.
I did mention that to Phil while we were talking before the podcast.
So secrets out, Nick. We know you're paying attention. Just kidding, you're not.
He's paying enough attention that he knows that his team sucks because he goes to set his lineup and sees the standings.
We talk about it. He's engaged. He just doesn't want to do
he just doesn't want to make moves because he's stubborn.
Yeah. So the Bins game of the week presented by Zeke and Anthony Lascazzo, JR, the second junior, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. E minor. Anyway.
Do we just all thread?
Yeah.
Count of three?
1, 2, 3. Kyle.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So the predicted standings, and like we say always, it is law because we said it. Some of them were unanimous, some of them weren't. But needless to say, majority rules, just like in this country. Apparently, I don't know.
I wish I had the soundboard of Budunch.
It was a political statement, I guess. I'm taking a stance against something. Anyway, Bruce at 7-2, myself at 7-2, Doge at 7-2, Al at 5-4, Thom at 5-4, Nick at 5-4, Phil at 5-4, Alex Hochberg at 4-5, Kyle at 4-5, Luch at 3-6, Anthony at 2-7, and Skylar at 0-9. We will see how that pans out.
I know I mentioned that that would be the nail in the coffin for Luch, but after I look at these standings, it definitely is not the nail in the coffin for Luch.
No.
If this is what happens, this is a really, really interesting last few weeks of the regular season for fantasy. There's going to be some upset teams here.
I'm looking at this now. This is a massive game for me this week because if I go to 6-3, then I'm only one game in front of half the league, essentially. Yeah. So that's a big game. So
the same thing with Joey. It's a big game for Joey. I mean, with Nick, Nick could tie up with Joey, but it's a big game for a lot of people. Me and Alex Hochberg too. We're both 4-4.
Oh, yeah.
It's just there's Phil and
every
Tom.
Every week's a big week for Lucho now too. Even Kyle, every week's a big week.
Well, Kyle's lucky he's playing Skylar. He needs this one.
Yeah, I agree.
And Lucho and Kyle, the two teams that really need it right now, are playing the bottom two teams of the league, and then everyone else is playing each other. So that's kind of interesting.
Yep. All right. So number one fan of the week, Al, go ahead. Take it away.
My number one fan of the week, I'm going to give it to Phil for joining the podcast last minute. Thanks, Phil. I can't count you as a host because you're not a permanent host. So, but congrats. There was no fan mail that I knew of. So
I'm going to make an honorable mention to this segment. I'm going to say Thom again for an honorable mention because he texted me saying he missed me on the podcast, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I texted Tom and was like, "Hey, man, do you want to come on the podcast?" I said this earlier today because I was going to get us a guest, and he said, "Can't, man." So, I mean, I'm sure he had an excuse, but he didn't get on the podcast, and Phil did. So I got to give it to Phil.
No, yeah, Phil, clear number one.
Phil, would you like to give your acceptance speech?
Suck it, Tom.
Sorry to offend anyone. All right. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears, and Phil, I'm glad you're here, man. You're here for the good stuff now. You hung with us, yet you were there.
Yeah.
Now
I stayed for this.
you stayed for this. All right. So anyway, a couple weeks ago we did Italian. A couple weeks before that we did barbecue. Then the guys did the deli. Those went on for a long time. So I'm gonna
Okay.
try to keep it a little. I'm try to keep it a little shorter. Dog might be a little upset with me because there's a question he can't really answer in here. So this is a two-parter, but it's shorter. Okay. So as per usual, stay with me. This one moves a little quickly as per usual. And now, once again, you are on a car trip, road trip, whatever. You are on some form of journey. You are in a vehicle. You pull off at a gas station / convenience store, i.e. a Sheetz, a Wawa, a 7-Eleven, your Mobile Mart, your Cumberland Farms. It doesn't matter. You're getting gas, but you're also fueling your body up as well.
Okay.
You got to get two items. And, I know you might be like, oh, hey, man, am I going to be able to pee? Yeah, you can. You can get whatever you want. You got to get 2 items, 2 snacks, and you got to get yourself 1 drink. And then once you've answered that, there's a part 2 to this question about a convenience store, but the scenario is different. Therefore, the food, I think, will be different, and I'm curious to see. So I'm going to start it off as I usually do.
Hold on.
We'll go ahead. Go.
Phil has 2 questions.
2 questions. Go ahead.
Am I driving or am I passenging?
Ooh.
You are the passenger. You are the passenger here.
Okay, I'm the passenger. And how long is the car ride?
Here to Cleveland,
about-
10 hours.
No. Let's say like 3 hours.
Here to
No.
Boston, 3.5.
Yeah, New York to Boston.
I'm in the
All right.
head. Let's go.
Okay. So I'm going to start off, and we're all going to say our food items. We're going to go 1 and 2. I'll go to you then, Phil, and then we'll go to Al, and then we'll come back around.
All right,
I
do it
have a
whatever way you
Southern
want.
accent
Go ahead,
all
Dennis.
of a sudden. Okay. First and foremost, I think this is a little boring, but I always seem to get this on a car ride because I love them. A Cliff Bar of some kind. I know that's strange, and you may not think of that at a gas station, but it's like the ultimate, like, I feel like I ate something substantial, but like I didn't really eat a whole hell of a lot. I'm really fond of the macadamia and white chocolate one. I think that one's really good. And then the chocolate chip one is really good. They're basically just candy bars that they're like, hey, there's somebody hiking on here. It's good for you. It's not. It's mostly sugar, and I am a huge fan of that. And then number 2, I am such a fan, and this is so stupid, but I love gas station bagels. I don't
That's
know
hilarious
why.
because that was my number 1.
I don't know what it is, but like pre-packaged bagels, like with cream cheese on it, they're not good, but like they have.
No, they're not. The bagels
they're
are
not
not good.
at
They're
all.
not fresh. They're not anything. But
there's something about like coagulated cream cheese and like a cold bagel that makes you like think of your childhood on your way to like fucking Little League or something.
in that saran wrap, I don't know why.
Yeah,
but
I don't know
Saran wrap
what
on?
it is, dude. I love it. I fucking love it. All right, Phil, what are your 2? What are your 2 and why?
I'm gonna go with. You know what? I'm gonna go with a large Slim Jim and a bag of almonds.
Really?
Why?
Any particular brand of almonds? I don't know if I know any particular brand of almonds.
So the best part about gas stations is you never know what kind of selection you're gonna get because there's these red bags that I think they're called like Kings or something, and they're the worst prepackaged nuts and seeds you will ever eat.
Right.
Or they sometimes have like the Blue Diamond bags. If they have the Blue Diamond selection, I might get like a habanero or like a chili lime.
The salt and vinegar ones are like fantastic.
Exactly. If I can get my hands on one of those, and then just like either a bag of jerky or a Slim Jim.
Okay, that's fair enough. Al,
Protein.
What about you?
Well,
protein.
as I already mentioned, my number 1 go-to is the either cream cheese bagel or
They're so good.
if they don't have it, I'll take the butter, but I'd prefer the cream cheese.
They're so good.
They are.
I don't
and
know why.
They're just like they're some of the worst bagels I've ever had in my life, but
it's
What was
it's
your number,
so satisfying. What's that, Phil?
what was your number 2? Did you say Pringles?
Oh, my number 2, I didn't get to it yet.
Oh,
My number 2, I don't
It's
know.
Pringles.
It's not Pringles. It's close, but it's the Cool Ranch Doritos bag.
Oh yeah.
My go-to.
Okay.
I love Cool Ranch Doritos, and I'll give an honorable mention because every once in a while I decide, I'm really not feeling Cool Ranch Doritos, and I get Fritos, so that's pretty close. But
That's bold on a car trip where you're gonna eat all that sodium and then be in a car. I love Fritos. That's a very divisive thing. I love Fritos, especially the honey barbecue twist ones or the barbecue.
I'm
twist ones.
just a big original Fritos guy.
They're really good. Put them on chili. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had.
All good answers there. So now your drink. What is your drink going to be? Yeah, I understand there's the question of, I got to pull over and piss. Just don't even think of that. Like, what are you going to get in that situation? For me, it's a very specific brand of black cherry seltzer. It's called Halls or Howls. I'm not too sure. They sell it mostly in the city, but it's making its way up now. It's it's like opening it is like setting off a fucking grenade. It's got that much carbonation in it, and I'm such a big fan of it. All right, Phil, what about you?
probably coconut water.
Really?
Yeah, that's probably what I buy from gas stations the most.
Interesting. I don't know if I've ever had coconut water.
Yeah, I like the original or pineapple.
Okay. All right. Interesting choice. Al, what about you?
All right, so this is a little bit of a tough one because it really depends on. Am I tired or am I awake?
You're driving, so you're going to probably want to stay awake.
Okay, so if I need to be awake, it's.
Oh, we were passenging.
I thought we were passing.
Whatever. You make it what you want.
But even if I want to, if I'm tired and I want to stay awake, it's going to be the grape Mountain Dew Kickstarts. Everyone knows that I drink those things as I don't drink coffee. I don't drink those ridiculously heavy energy drinks anymore. It's just these light Kickstarts, which are essentially just soda with a tiny bit more caffeine than usual. In them. And then if I'm not tired, it used to be just a classic Arnold Palmer Arizona can. But now I'm all about the Arizona Fruit Punch Juice Cocktail.
Wow.
It's the purple can.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Oh, get it. It's the same size can as all the Arizona. It's just the purple can.
Oh, it's a purple. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's my go-to just normal refreshing drink now. Or honestly, most gas stations don't have it, so I didn't want to mention it. But if it is like a Stewart's or if it's like a
blue drink from Stewart's.
no, if it's like a Stewart's or honestly, I think that's really it. Maybe sometimes a mobile will have it, but it's the Razzleberry Peace Teas.
Oh yeah, Peace Teas are fantastic.
They're a little harder to find though.
Okay, so stick with me. The
Fruit Punch Juice cocktail from Arizona is everywhere.
All right, stick with me here. Stick with me here. So now we're gonna change up the scenario here because I think if you change up the scenario, I think it changes up the food. So let's just say all of us are all living at Academy Street again, right? We all go walk down the street. We go to Shotzi's. We get pretty banged up. We're fucking
we never
drunk.
walked to Shotzi's.
But let's just say, for instance, we're not.
We may have walked home from Mahoney's. I definitely did that once, twice.
Yeah. I don't remember where I walked. I walked home from the Civic Center one time from the house. So we're walking by and we've had a few to drink. We're not stumbling over, but we're pretty fucking drunk.
So I am definitely walking home from Mahoney's.
Yeah.
My phone died. I couldn't even get an Uber.
So on top of that, we're really hungry too. Now, I'm curious to see if you're drunk and you got the drunk munchies, what are your selections here? So for me, 1,000%, if I've been drunk, I love the purple bag of Doritos, the spicy sweet chili. It's like the perfect drunk food because it's like
too spicy for me, but I do like
so
them
good.
Before I decide that it's too spicy.
So good. And then on top of that, I know that this is like a weird thing, but like there's usually those like sleeves of Oreos. I'll get like a sleeve of Oreos because like I'm not buying a whole package of like for $6 at a gas station. This is $2.99. I'll buy somehow a better deal, even though it's really not. And then I'll throw the drink in there just because I always get like an orange Gatorade if I've been drinking. And I don't drink Gatorade anymore unless I'm like really fucked up. And it's always got to be a Gatorade, I think, if I've been drinking at a gas station. So, Phil, I'll go to you. If you get almonds again while you've had a few, if that's your drunk food, feel free to tell me. Maybe it's pistachio. No. I don't know, but what is it?
A box of Cheez-Its, 100 Grape Bar, and a Coors Banquet. 2-4.
$100,000 bar. Has anybody had one of those since 1945? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't
Chris,
even know if I've had one of those.
if it's either $100,000 or a whatchamacallit, depends on how drunk I am. Because I'll get out of the gas station, I'll go, I got a whatchamacallit, and it's a whatchamacallit.
Another candy that hasn't been eaten since pre-World War II. But anyway, sure. All right, fair
Now
enough.
the 80s.
Al, go ahead. What's yours?
So if I'm stumbling, not stumbling, but if I'm a little uneasy going to this gas station, I'll be getting a bag, not any specific brand, just a bag of popcorn. Like if they just have the random clear bags that they made at the gas station, they decided to put it in. I'll get
some
that.
guy in a microwave goes in the back and makes sure
I'll get those for sure. If they don't have that, then I just go for the classic white cheddar bag of popcorn. But the big bag, I never will get the small bag if I've been drinking. It's always the big bag.
Of course.
And then Phil, I find that hilarious that you answered the Coors Banquet 2-4 because that is my go-to 2-4 as well. I actually you guys reminded me, I have one sitting in my golf bag in my car. I probably should take it out of there and throw it into the fridge.
It's cold enough out there now.
Well, now it is. Yeah, fortunately.
Next year.
Crack it open.
You get another food. You get another food too. What is that? You have another one?
Food. Oh man. I don't think I am. I'm usually not thinking too much about food because this bag of popcorn is usually gigantic that I'm getting. So I don't really have, if I wasn't getting popcorn, that means that I want something sweet. So I definitely would be getting candy. And if I had to get candy, I'm usually just going, even drunk, I'm still just going classic M&Ms, which is the bad drunk decision by going classic. Because if I'm not drunk, I'd probably get better, more exciting.
Well, at least you picked a candy that you didn't also have to buy war bonds with while you were purchasing it. $100,000 bar, Jesus. Yeah, I bought a Fifth Avenue too with it. Maybe for me and my gal to split. Anyway, that's hysterical. I've never had one. I will end it on this. I don't know if you know. I'll say his name. Brian Kimmel. Do you remember him from high school?
Yeah.
So me and him were really good buddies back when I was like in college and when he was at Dutchess or whatever. And he would get drunk, and this is the weirdest thing. He would insist his drunk food. He would demand a chicken salad sandwich from Mobile. Like disgusting. Like no one should be eating that.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. Also, a little side story here. Quick 1-2 from a gas station. Pumping gas at 7-Eleven in New Haven one time. Guy bought 2 hot dogs, one for him, one for his dog. He ate one, put one down on the ground for the dog. Dog didn't want it, so the dog had better taste than he did. The guy tried to go back in and return the hot dog as I'm paying for my gas. And then the guy goes, dude, I saw you put that on the ground. He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, yeah, you did. And then the guy just threw it in the garbage and walked out. So that's what happens when you live in New Haven, Connecticut. So, all right, we're going to end it there. Do you have that Travis Kelce thing that you were talking about?
Oh, no, I can't share it. It's a teaser for some of the people that do listen to this podcast. You'll find out about it eventually. I just don't want to, and I don't want to spoil a surprise if that's the plan.
Oh, all right, cool. Anyway, that's fine.
So like I said, maybe Friday,
Friday. Is it for me or is it for like the week?
It has nothing to do with you. You'll just find out about it.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Anyway, anybody have anything else? Anybody have any weird gas station stories? I feel like
Phil has a bunch of weird stories about everything. We could be on this podcast for the next couple hours.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about those another time. Anyway, so if nobody has anything,
we don't need to record all those.
No, I don't want those
for legal purposes.
Yeah. All right. So as per usual, I'm gonna end this on my thank you. So once again, Al, thank you for doing the show sheet and coming through and
way better than Bruce
being here. Absolutely. Luch, shout out to you already for editing this, even though you weren't a part of it. Bruce, shout out to you for having a child. Also, just thanks for always being here in general. Phil, thank you for being here. Thank you for filling in and being really good at it too. And we appreciate that. Thank you for having great hair, by the way, too. That's pretty sick. Thank you to anybody who is listening. I do appreciate that always. I appreciate any feedback that you do give me. I did appreciate Thom telling me he missed me last week, and I appreciate you guys saying during the podcast that you missed me last week. I appreciate that. Anyway,
the
I don't.
podcast just it runs so much better with you hosting it. So
I was gifted with the gift of gab, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So I thank you for saying that. And once again, thanks for all of you guys just being here. I appreciate you giving me something to look forward to on a Wednesday night, as always. Once again, we're going to end this now. If you guys want to
good
write
luck
it
to your
in the
fantasy
fan
teams.
mail, good luck as always. I hope you win. And
Except
if
for
you didn't
Alex,
win last
I
week,
hope Alex does not win.
I hope you win. And if you didn't win last week, I hope you turn that around. Everybody can't win, but happy hunting, everybody. I hope you do good next week. So we'll see you next week, guys.
Don't
Cheers,
forget
everybody.
to subscribe to my OnlyFans.